We are City of Five Nations podcast. I am your co-host for this series, Zoe Loeser, and you are watching Know Your Vote with me and my dear friend, Daniel Shaughnessy. This was a ringer of an episode. Daniel, tell us what happened.
Zoe, it was kind of fun. I got a text at 5 minutes after I was texting going, "Hey man, where are you at?" And he was like, I didn't get anything. And we talked, and at about 10 minutes into it, I said, look, I'm just going to have to call one of our guests and find out where he's at. And when I talked to him, he said he wasn't ready. Well, the show must go on.
The show did go on. So we are talking about the Ward 3 interview with candidates James Harrod and Travis Flood. And yes, we did have a time mishap.
Well, I call it a hiccup. It was one of those things. The communication got crossed, and James, he's a busy man. We know that. But he came on and he was kind of gruff at first. You're going to find out. But he's a good guy. He just made a mistake. And later on, Zoe, he did just publicly announce, hey, look, I had that wrong. And, Daniel was right in the sense that the timing was right. And so I think that it all ended up okay. And he does join us later, but you've got to stay tuned to watch this girl. A little bit into it. It's kind of fun, Zoe.
Yeah, the fiercer side of things. I do think it was a really good interview. I think we definitely learned a lot about Travis, and that was actually my first time to meet James, and glad to get to know him a little better.
Yeah, well, he's been on the commission for 16 years. I know him pretty well. So, and Travis, I was very impressed. It was a good day. You want to watch it?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Right now. So today, Zoe, unfortunately, one of our guests is late upon arrival, and he hopefully will join us. But we do have a candidate, and I believe this is for Ward 3.
Yes, Ward 3, which is south. Oh, geez, cardinal directions. It is southwest, Shawnee.
Well, and I'm a big Cardinals fan, so I'm really happy that you used that. That's
the cardinal direction.
That's like flyover directions. I'm taking it.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we'll go with it. Mm-hmm.
I think it might be the color red on the map.
I am a fan of red. It's a good color.
Okay.
Speaking
red,
of red.
Blue. Yay. So you want to introduce the candidate, and hopefully we'll get the second one on, like I said. Sure. But we have candidate.
Yeah, so we have candidate for Ward 3 is Travis Flood. Hello, Travis. Travis
and in all fairness, we have the other candidate just couldn't make this time. We had agreed to this time, and they're struggling to make it. So if he comes on, he can come on.
Yep, he'll pop in. Other way. So Travis Flood is hails from Lindsay, Oklahoma, and has lived in Shawnee for how long now?
Gosh, so the first time I moved to Shawnee was in 2005, early 2005, and lived here for 4 or 5 years, and then moved away for a year, and then moved back for about a year, and then moved away for 4 years. I've lived here longer than I've lived any other place in the world, but there's been a couple of breaks in there for a little bit. So.
And how long has your most recent Shawnee stint been?
My most recent, almost 5 years now.
Okay, cool. Yeah. And what brought you back?
So I came back to help start and work with the amazing organization Community Renewal. So I've been here helping, working with Brandon Dyer and the rest of the amazing staff to help create this awesome nonprofit that helps restore people's worlds and lives through intentional relationships.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, and I remember meeting you for the first time, Travis, and it was a very good meeting. You were out helping. I didn't really know you. You didn't know us. And you showed up one day all alone and started carrying sod. And that's when I started to appreciate your things. What do we call those things? Yeah.
Well,
you could carry like 3 things of sod. Dun, 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 dun.
Right. If you need a guy to, hey, here, hold this, I'm pretty good at that. So I've been doing that my whole life.
Well, let's start this program. And Zoe, how about we'll throw out a first question. Travis, the way that this works is that we kind of throw up a community member on video and they'll ask a question and then you get to answer it.
Okay.
And if Zoe and I have any follow-ups to your answer, we will do that. Okay. Sound good? All right. Let's go with question number 1.
My name is Rachel Monday, and I live here in Shawnee, and I just wanted to know what you see in Shawnee that you maybe think needs improvement, and whatever that is, how do you plan to use your time in office to improve it?
Okay.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So
did you get the question? Good. Go.
Yes, sir. One of the things that I know and feel like we need to work on in a city or as a city is our transportation issue for folks who live on the south and east and west side of town who are trying to make it to employment on the north side of town. We have a large number of amazing places for people to have pretty good jobs, but a lot of folks struggle with making it to and from work. A lot of folks struggle with making it to and from basic services, things like that. And so I believe that we're a city that's big enough that where we could really intentionally look at something like that and focus some of our intention and energies toward making transportation easier for some of our families that don't have cars. I know that there's a lot of positive things that come from helping people all over, Shawnee get places, and cars are one of those things that is a privilege to a lot of people, but not very many, not everybody has that. And so I think that working in Ward 3, living in Ward 3, I see a lot of that could, like I said, could really help some people's lives get better. And then also to kind of piggyback on that, another thing that I think that we could work on, there's a lot of stuff happening north of town as far as development and intentional planning and growth, and it's amazing. It's so good. Shawnee is just exploding, and it's so happy to be a part of that, and so happy to see all that. But I really would like to focus on bringing some of that expansion, some of that growth, some of that excitement to the south part of town too, and really focus on trying to not just improve economically, but also improve some of our pockets of housing, some of our streets, some of our landscaping in this part of the world. There's a lot of good things going on all over Shawnee, and so I just want to try and help make sure that we're doing our best to spread that over all of the city, not just pockets. And I'm really excited about working on that and talking through that and trying to help make that happen. And so those are a few things that I think that we could really be intentional about, really work on, and would help improve a lot of people's lives.
Well, Travis, I appreciate that answer. I have a car. I have 2 cars, actually.
I have 3 cars.
and so how is that helpful to me if you want to work on transportation?
Well, so I believe that in a city our size, where we do our do life and everything together, if I'm okay, that's okay for me and my family. And so I, don't have to figure out how am I going to get to work. I don't have to figure out how my kids are going to have to get to school. I don't have to figure out how I'm going to make it across town to get groceries. And I'm blessed. I'm thankful for that. But the strain and the extra energy and effort that puts on the families that do not have that, that carries over into other parts of their lives. If I want my city to be the best, strongest city that it can be, then everybody from somebody that has a brand new car to a car that barely runs to a bicycle to walking in a worn out pair of shoes, they need to have the same ability to get to where they need to get to that I do. And I believe that if we all have that if somebody else's life gets better, my life gets better.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can't just focus on, I'm thankful you have a car. That's amazing. But I promise you, if your neighbor that does not have a car has a way to get to work, has a way to get groceries, has a way to make it to the doctor, that the strain of not having those things will make his life better, which in turn will save more resources for our city, be able to help everybody else, get better. If you're working and you're spending money and things are getting better, then those things will come in as tax dollars. Those things will come in as people spending money in local stores, all the things. I believe that, like I said, that it's not just us and them, but if we intentionally work together to make everybody's life better, that our lives will get better because of it, and our city will grow because of it.
Yeah, I agree. I think that I think that it's a comment on a larger issue. So transportation is about access to resources, and economic development in South Shawnee is also about access to resources.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are concerned about homelessness. A lot of people are concerned about crime. A lot of people are concerned about addiction. And a lot of those stem from people not having the resources that they need. And so if we can make sure that people are able to have stable jobs through good transportation, or be able to get to the grocery store, or be able, transportation has actually come up from some of the other, specifically from other questions in the community.
Right.
And one particularly is about people being able to get to addiction recovery resources.
Yeah.
If we have public transportation, people are going to be able to get from the south side of Shawnee to the north side where we have our addiction recovery resources through Gateway. And so, it's not just about transportation, it's about all of these larger issues too.
Well, and truthfully, I mean, we not just the south side, there are families all over Shawnee
Yes.
that don't have cars.
Yes.
And there are places where it's not very easy to travel.
Right. I don't want to walk down Kickapoo.
I did some walking with some friends a couple of weekends ago in Highland, and we were way up north, and it was tough.
We had to trudge through grass at one point.
Yeah, there weren't very many places that I felt extremely safe. At one time, we had to walk on the street, and I don't think it was on purpose, but cars just couldn't. You got 2 lanes and cars running side by side. They couldn't get away from us like they wanted to, and had to slow down. And it was not a good situation for anything, because that frustrates the person walking. That as a driver, that always scares me, makes me more on edge, and it kind of spills over into stuff, because I don't want to accidentally hit somebody, or clip them with my mirror or something, or cause them to feel any way, because they have no other option. And so it's just a lot of different things, and it kind of, like I said, spills over into everything. So.
And you said Highland, but did you mean Harrison?
I meant Harrison. I apologize. Harrison. Yes, North Harrison.
No problem. So let's move on to the next question. We do have 5 that we'd like to get through with you, Travis.
Yeah.
So let's go to the next question, please.
Hi, my name is Vicki Penson. I'm a semi-retired educator at Shawnee Public Schools. If elected, how do you plan to involve residents in the decision-making process in our city?
Awesome.
Another great question.
Yeah.
Travis, were you able to hear
Yes.
Mrs. Penson?
Yes, I was.
She's a teacher, so it's like Mrs. Penson.
Right.
Unless you're Zoe and didn't go to school here, or
No,
but
I'm a
to
noob.
me, it's Mrs. Penson.
Right. Yes, ma'am. That's what. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. So, no, one of the things that I think will make me a good commissioner is the fact that I am, even though I'm kind of big and hairy and a little ugly, I'm extremely approachable. You can ask anybody that knows me. My phone goes off 24/7.
Yes.
And people call me and they ask for help. People shoot me text messages. I get emails, all the stuff all the time. And I do my best to listen to whatever need they have and try and make that better. If it's something to celebrate, then I'm like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. We get excited about it. But if it's something that's going on that they need help with, or they need, the ability to find tools or find resources to take care of it themselves, then that's one of the things I get to do. And because of that has allowed me to build a lot of relationships with people all over town. And I don't mind picking up the phone and calling somebody, knocking on a door and saying, hey, this person needs this, or this person needs this. How can we help them find the things that they need to make their lives better? And I think that will transfer really well into being a commissioner, because I hope that people would never see me as somebody that was unapproachable, and never see me as somebody that was just gonna, do my own thing, and I was just, somebody that was an underling that they had to bow to. That's not me at all. If you know anything about me, you know anything about my character and my heart, my hope is to help people to succeed. And you can't do that without listening to them and being intentional to hear their story and hear what their dreams are, what their needs are, and what they want. And so I believe that I would be good at that. And I intentionally seek people out too. I just don't wait for people to show up. If I see something that doesn't look right, then I start saying, hey, what's going on? Can you need help? Can we make things better? And so that's kind of the basic of why I think I would do that. Yeah.
That's awesome. And that intentionally, I want to insert now that this is not the Travis Flood show. All the candidates have been asked to take part in this forum. And today, unfortunately, Travis's opponent ran into some, I guess, some disturbances in prior to the show, and wasn't ready. And we just we had to go ahead and do it. We had it scheduled for a week, and we had our confirmations done yesterday, and so this was our time, and so that's unfortunate. And just to make that clear now in the middle of the show, we want everybody to have information about everybody and get to know everybody who's running, because you got to know your vote. That's why we've termed the series this: Know Your Vote. Own your own vote. Don't vote simply because somebody else tells you something that may be true or may not be true, and then it becomes dialogue. Know your vote. These are local people, local candidates, and this is the most important election of this century for us so far here in the City of Five Nations. Know your vote. Get out and vote. If you don't vote, we all lose.
Yeah.
Zoe, ready for another question? Thank you for that answer, Travis. Yep. Let's go on to question number 3.
Let's do it.
Sales tax is one of the main incomes for the city of Shawnee. What is your plan to grow business here in our community so that people spend their dollars here and generate tax so the city can continue to expand?
And that was Daniel Matthews.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
You could hear it?
Yes, I could hear it. It was a little bit quieter, but I could hear it. So I believe that we're on the right track for doing things as far as expanding businesses and looking to invest in things like downtown. I think that we've done a pretty good job as a city recently, inviting people in, looking for new opportunities to keep people local. It's amazing that in 25 minutes I can be in Midwest City and pretty much go and go shop at or eat at any place that I want to be at. In 40 minutes I can be in Bricktown and have all the options in the world. I think that's pretty typical of standard Oklahoman to think, man, it's only 45-minute drive. In other cities, that would be the most ridiculous thing in the world, to think I'm gonna drive 45 minutes to get something that I need, and I think that we're right at the point to where we can really start being intentional to look at the things that people are leaving Shawnee to go after, to go find, to buy, to experience, to whether it be needs and goods and services, or whether it be entertainment, or whether it be just I like that restaurant better than this restaurant, whatever it is. I think that we could look at those things and be intentional about trying to go after and invite those businesses, those entities, those places here, because we've got a large enough area and we've got room to grow. And I think, Tim and the guys, have done a fantastic job, but now's not the time to sit back and go, man, we're doing pretty good. Now it's time to go, man, we're doing pretty good. How much better can we do if we intentionally seek out some of these things that people from around Shawnee and some of the smaller communities too. It's amazing to have conversations with people from Macomb and McLeod and Bethel and Tecumseh and Seminole even, that are coming to Shawnee because it's becoming a area that's more of a one-stop shop for all the things that you need. Find entertainment, you can get groceries, you can go to an amazing hospital at St. Anthony's. More and more doctors are coming to this world. So just being intentional about seeking the things out that people are leaving Shawnee and trying to find and bringing those here. So that's that.
You mentioned Tim and the guys. Can you tell us more about this Tim and his guys?
Well, Tim Berg is our economic developer guru guy for the city, and I've grown to know him over the years and think he's a really good guy, really good fit for that position. And he has been part of a lot of amazing opportunities to bring different businesses and manufacturing and all kinds of things. And so that's his kind of his main role, is to go out into the world and look for things that we think we could bring to Shawnee to help Shawnee grow and to help Shawnee be, the best place to live and do things. And so he's so Tim Berg is Tim and the guys and gals. I don't know who all works with him. I just,
Yeah, I know Jeremy Davidson's over there.
Yeah. So Tim is, for people who don't know, was with the Shawnee Economic Development Foundation, which was actually funded through the city for years and years. And recently, with the transformation of the Shawnee Chamber of Commerce and the Shawnee Economic Development Foundation, it was transferred into Shawnee Forward, which now is an arm's length entity from the city, not directly employed by the city, or I'm sure that it receives funding from the city because Chamber of Commerce's need that, as do economic development people. Tim, for all that he does, basically is a one-man show, which is amazing. We do have a talented individual and a wonderful asset for economic development through the gentleman, Tim Berg, who I've known for a long time, and he's a straight shooter, and he will talk to anybody about the topic of Shawnee economic development, one-on-one or in a group. He's a great guy. So as we come in now, we are privileged again to have sitting Commissioner James Harrod be able to join us. And James, whoa, tilt it down. We want to see you, my friend. Tilt it down.
Tilt it up.
Yeah. How are you, James?
I'm good. I apologize.
Thank you.
I thought everything was scheduled for 10 o'clock today, according to all my texts and everything. We were supposed to go on air at 10, not at 9.
Okay, well, we'll check those texts, and you know, I'm whoops about that if that's what you have. So
That's all right. I'm sorry. I didn't. I wasn't in a position to join you at 9 o'clock. So whatever. It is.
Yes, sir.
It is.
Well, let's hop on to the next question. What about question number 3?
Hello, my name is Scott Timmons. What steps, if any, do you plan to take so that Shawnee can be an example both to the state and the nation of how a small town is actively seeking to correct any systematic injustices and be sensitive and respond to the disenfranchised in our community?
And that was actually question number 4 from Scott Timmons. He's a small business owner in downtown Shawnee and also has several properties that he manages across the community.
James, were you able to hear that?
Well, I don't understand the question because, you know, we don't have any. As far as I know, the police work very well with all the communities, the Native Americans and the Black community. So we don't have, as far as I'm concerned, we don't have any disparities. We've tried to hire police and tried to encourage, you know, different nationalities to apply for the police academy. We've had Hispanics and so forth. We had some Black officers applied this time, or some Black individuals apply this time, and I understand a couple of them are going through the procedure of background checks and the background checks and the everything to get qualified, and then they have to go to the program, the state program in Ada to be trained as a police officer, and so before they can even go out as on the job training in Shawnee. So our biggest problem is, you know, as far as the police department is concerned, we train 2 or 3 officers a year, and they stay with us a couple of years and then go to Tulsa or Oklahoma City, and I can. Sergeant Lopez was one of our spokesmen here in Shawnee and a PR person for the police department, and she wound up, and she's now in Oklahoma City. So that's just a problem that the small town has, is we get them trained and they go somewhere else. I noticed Tecumseh's advertising for police officers now. They have the same problem that we do have. I don't think we have a discrimination problem. I meet with the Dunbar people, you know, several times a year, and meet with David Henry and Rick Young and different ones on, you know, different occasions. Work with Masons and Prince Hall Masons and stuff like that. So I think I don't think we have a problem in Shawnee that you know that even has to be addressed, because you know, the police are, and as far as that goes, the fire and everyone else does an excellent job.
Okay. Just so that I understand correctly, and I want to repeat this, James, for you and for your benefit, Travis, because you're not going to see that video again, is what steps do you plan to take for Shawnee to be an example to the state and the nation of how a small town is actively seeking to correct systematic injustices and be sensitive and responsive to the disenfranchised in our community? James, is there anything else you would like to add?
Well, we've met with the different groups and met with Rick Young, this, just a few days ago and so forth. I don't know that, Shawnee has a reputation of according to one website, of been having a number 2 in the nation for, or in the state for crime and so forth. And that you check other websites and we don't appear on the top 10. So it's according to whoever's doing the measurements. I really don't. I think we are already the example. And if I don't know that
Okay.
anything we could do any different than we're doing.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Travis, your answer, please.
I've spent the last couple of weeks working with individuals who, although they believe that Shawnee is a good city, there's some things that they think that we can be better at. I think our police force is doing an amazing job, and I think they're working their tails off to protect and serve like they vowed to. But I believe there are some places where people don't feel like they're given the same opportunities and the same experiences as others. I just had a conversation a couple days ago with a group of men who although they are doing better in the world that they live in, at one time did not feel like they were getting a fair shake. They did not feel like their world was the same as everybody else's. And I think that conversations like that, being able to listen to people that feel like there's something that needs to change, and then being able to go to the police chiefs and the associate chiefs and people and say, hey, there are a few things out here that people are asking questions about and wanting to know if we can change policy, if we can do better. Because I think that if you sit back and say we're doing okay, then that becomes dangerous. I think that you always need to be seeking out an opportunity to improve relationships, always seek out the opportunity to be the best that you can be, whether it be a neighbor in a community or a police officer or a counselor or a teacher or a business owner. We've always got to be seeking ways to live and love and be the best. I've had conversations recently with some of the neighbors in our housing area that wanted to know different things about how can I have these opportunities to do things, and went to the housing department and had a great conversation with them, and they were thankful for the feedback. They said, you know what, we don't know these things until somebody finds the courage to come and say to us, hey, this is not, I don't see this as fair, or this is a concern I have. And I think that we have to seek out people. We can't wait for them to come running up and saying this is wrong. I think we have to be intentionally going out and doing life in our neighborhoods, in all over Shawnee, and saying, hey, what do you think? How do you feel? What's the reality for your world? Because it may not be the reality for this person's world, because although we're the same, we're different. And so our worlds can be different just a few feet from each other. And so I think that we always have to be intentional about, as being commissioners, as being police officers, as being, city leaders, as being business owners, neighbors, of being willing to walk across the street and say, hey, how are you? What's going on? And, are there any things that you think that could be better?
All right. Thank you both for
Thank you,
that
guys.
question, Zoe.
Did you say next question, Zoe?
I think we did.
Let's take question number 6. No, number 5. I don't know what question we're on.
We'll get you counting
at your leisure. Hi, I'm Timmy Young. My question is, what are your plans for Shawnee to unite Shawnee socially?
Old TY, Timmy Young. Were you able to hear that question, Travis? You will go first to answer that.
My plan to unite Shawnee is to be intentional about listening to people's concerns. One of the things that, again, oftentimes, and I've said this a lot lately, oftentimes feel like people don't feel like their voice matters. They don't feel like that it really, I'm just going to do my thing and live my life, and whatever happens, happens, because uh, it seems sometimes like it doesn't. But in reality, we know that every person in Shawnee has the exact same vote, the exact same voice, the exact same ability to want a better world, and want a safer city, and want some place that they can prosper and live in, and do good. I believe that through things like racial reconciliation, and through things like conversations with uh, the police and our schools, through things with working with other uh, boards and entities and things, like being really intentional about getting all the people together that are working in different pockets in town to make things better. Get them together and try and solve the issues that are causing any kind of separation. Work with the churches, work with the schools, work with the business owners to say, what do you see as things that are good, that we can celebrate and move forward on, and what are some of the things that man, we could do better here. And I think that's a listening conversation. It's going to take a while. It's not just not going to happen overnight. Whenever you feel like you're not being heard for a long time, and you finally get a chance to speak, that often comes out in an aggressive kind of sometimes unhelpful way. But being strong enough to step back and go, okay, I'm going to give you a chance to talk, and then hopefully, if you have a chance to talk, we can come back together and work together to build a plan to move forward. I believe that there's so many amazing folks from all socioeconomical demographics, all of our races and religions and creeds that are strong enough to say, this is what we need. This is what the people that I represent need. And we can come together to be intentional about, like I said earlier, if your life gets better, then my life gets better. And so the world is not pie. If your life gets better, my piece of the pie does not get small. And so trying to be intentional about living life to where we not only make our lives better, but make my neighbors' lives better too.
Life is not pie. That is one of my favorites.
And James, would you like to hear that question again?
Yeah, I know Timmy very well. Timmy and I have served on the commission together. I know that, it's my door's always open. My phone, everybody has my phone number because I get calls in the middle of the night and early in the morning and so forth. But, we've tried to have community block parties. We've tried to have town hall meetings and everything in the world. We might get 5 people to show up, and everybody has an opportunity to voice their opinion. But no one, has not been that much interest. I wish there was that much interest. But, I hope that maybe in the future that they can do that. One of the things that I want to start back is when Wes Maynard was mayor, we had planning sessions which were open to the public. The public could speak, the staff could speak, and we developed long-term goals and plans. And I'd like to, see us go back to that. I'm not the mayor, and I'm not a mayor candidate, so I'm not in control of that. But that's one thing that, I've always encouraged. And it's when I was superintendent, that's one thing I always did. My door was always open to everyone. And I meet with, with all the people all the time. I meet with the downtown merchants, and the police chief met with them here just a week or so ago. And so, we make the effort, and everyone makes the effort today. We've talked about town hall meetings and trying to block party meetings and everything else, but no one shows up. So, if it's kind of frustrating for you to serve when you don't get any input. And I've just joined a neighborhood watch. They call it Neighbors Next Door on Farrell, and I've been getting some comments and information on that. People don't have, they are not, it's their own, I don't know what the problem is, but they don't stay informed. We had a letter in the paper this morning about the South Kickapoo project. Well, that's a state project. That's not a city project. The only benefit that the city gets out of it is that we get to replace the oldest part of the sewer line and water line in Shawnee. They were put in on Kickapoo in the 30s, and that's where we have 70% of our breaks are on Kickapoo and the main. So those are going to be replaced, and they should have been replaced, but we can't afford to go in there and replace them and tear up the street and then repair the street. So this gives us an opportunity to go through, and part of that contract will be to replace those infrastructure, and we'll have to pay for it. We've got money set aside in the to do that. We've also added 2 more policemen to the budget for next year. But if you don't have any applicants, what do you do? We need people to apply. We don't have applicants for different committees for the city of Shawnee. You have to go out and beg people to serve on the different committees and organizations, and we advertise for it. We put it in the newspaper. We put it on our website and everything else. I just, I wish there was more interest. I'd encourage everybody to, to participate and take part. And you have an opportunity at the commission meeting to speak. And just like at the budget hearing, it's a $72 million budget, and we never had one person talk for or against the budget. I was the only one of the commissioners, and I'd ask those questions in a meeting. But I want to have planning sessions, open conversation with citizens and staff. And again, we need to be making 5-year, 10-year plans instead of just shooting from the hip when we have something come up.
That's very insightful. Thank you very much, Zoe. I think that's the 5 questions for our candidates. James, again, sorry about the mishaps. We love to have you. We love to get good information from you. You definitely have been on the commission and know things more than all of us.
I will say my text did say 9 in Daniel's defense. So whatever.
No. Yeah, don't even worry. It's okay.
Mine said reporting at 9:55.
Oh, gotcha.
Don't even worry. It's just we do want everybody to get to know everybody. That's the heart of what we're doing here with Let's Get to Know Your Vote. It's important that you hear the facts. It's important that you understand who you're voting for, especially when we're all so close here in the city of 5 nations. You can contact your commissioner. You could contact James today. You could contact the mayor today, because everyone, all of us, live within a 15-mile radius within, that utilize Shawnee 90% of the time. So let's get to know each other, right?
That's right.
Okay. Well, you've been watching We Are City of 5 Nations podcast. We thank you, as always, and we hope that you have a great day.
Yeah, thanks, guys, for joining us.
See you later. Have a good day.
Bye.